to right for Rizzo. Way out of here. An upper deck shot. It's 4-0. Greg with a 1-1. Fly ball to left. How about a 2-game winning streak? Soriano the catch. Cubs win. We greet you from Marlins Park in Miami, Florida for Chicago Cubs baseball here on Comcast Sportsnet. This long trip continues. The Cubs still have a chance for a 500 journey, 3-5 so far, and they've won 2 in a row. Hi again, everyone. Jim DeShays, Len Casper, the roof open once again. It's been just glorious weather-wise, and the Cubs have enjoyed their stay here, winning the first 2 games. And Anthony Rizzo coming home with the game of the year last night.
Yeah, Anthony, 2 home runs, driving in all 4 of the Cubs' runs in front of a lot of family and friends here in South Florida. Nice to see him get it done against left-handers. He's been wearing out left-handed pitching this year. It was a big concern coming into the season, having it just a little over 200 against them last year. But he's got an OPS up over 1,000. Last year he had 4 home runs total against Southpaws. This one right here is the 3rd time he's taken a lefty deep this year. So Rizzo showing some signs of busting out.
And I think it's also a good sign that Dale Swaim actually was asked today, when Matt Garza comes back, where do you put him in the rotation? That means the starters are really good.
Yeah, well, Travis Wood, Carlos Villanueva, Jeff Samardzija have been rock solid all year long. And now Scott Feldman last night joining the party was really good. You take a look at the rotation over the last 7 starts. They've pitched to a 2.44 ERA, so they've been able to make limited runs hold up. These last 2 games here in Miami, just 4 runs. Their win in Cincinnati, the Cubs only scored 4 runs, but the starting pitching has been outstanding.
Here's the matchup tonight. It is the aforementioned Travis Wood, and it'll be right-hander Alex Sanabia for the Fish.
Sanabia, kind of a finesse right-hander, 2-2 with an ERA above 5. He's pitched into some tough luck. Travis Wood has just been outstanding. 4 starts, only 1-1, but that 2.08 ERA, one of the best in the National League.
So we're ready to go. It is game 3 of this 4-game set. Travis Wood, 4 starts, 4 quality starts. He'll try to make it 5 straight to start the season when we come back.
Baseball on Comcast Sportsnet is brought to you in part by your Chicago area and Northwest Indiana Lexus dealer, who invites you to test drive a Lexus today. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois. Through it all. BMO Harris Bank, helping money make sense. BMO Harris Bank, NA member FDIC. AT&T Uverse. Visit att.com/freeyourtv. Rethink possible. Ford. Check out America's freshest lineup at your local Ford store or at localfordstores.com. And by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com.
Welcome back inside Marlins Park. Looks like the biggest crowd of the weekend to this point. Game 3 of 4, and let's get into the Cubs Southwest starting lineup. 4 seems to be the magic number. The Cubs have scored exactly 4 runs 5 of the 8 games so far on this trip. DeJesus, Castro, and Rizzo now up to 200 on the year. Soriano, Scherholtz, Castillo, Luis Valbuena, the big homer on Thursday. Barney had a good night last night. And Travis Wood, the pitcher.
Marlins defensively, they look this way tonight. Austin Kearns, the veteran, gets a start in left. Ruggiano's back in center. Giancarlo Stanton, the right fielder. Polanco, Valaika, Solano, Mahoney, third to first, and veteran Miguel Oliva behind the plate to catch our Lexus pursuing perfection starting pitcher for the Marlins tonight. It's 24-year-old right-hander Alex Sanabia. 2 up and 2 down with a 5.09 ERA. Allowed 26 hits and 14 walks in 23 innings, so there's been a lot of traffic on against this young right-hander. 7-5 for his career. He's fastball, sinker, slider, changeup guy.
That is Corey Blazer, home plate umpire. Jim Joyce, the crew chief at first, will get the plate tomorrow. Jeff Nelson at second. Jim Wolf at third. Another breezy night. Roof open, and we're underway. A lot of late movement on that 90-mile-an-hour fastball. Ball 1 to DeJesus. Sanabia facing the Cubs for just the second time in his career, and the last time it was at the old ballpark. Sun Life Stadium was its name at that time, back in 2010.
And he's getting a lot of run on that two-seam fastball. He's a 32nd round pick of the Marlins back in 2006 from Chula Vista, side of San Diego.
That one will get down, and DeJesus will take a look at it, and it gets past Stanton. DeJesus on his way to third, and he'll stand at third.
That should be the 5th error of the year on Stanton, which is an incredibly high number for an outfielder this early in the season. And DeJesus just continues to swing a hot bat. Boy, after that rugged start, he's up around 350 over the last couple of weeks or so. And he's thinking extra bases as soon as he hits that one. And obviously with misplay by Stanton, he turns it into 3 bases. Cubs got a couple in the first last night. One in the first in the opening game of the series.
Castro lines this one foul. Infield in. The Marlins not scoring runs. Mike Redmond deciding he's going to bring his guys in. So double and an error, I guess, is what we're hearing. Yeah, double and an error. Book it.
Dano.
You can write it in and ink. Gets by Olivo, and DeJesus will score as Olivo could not find the ball. 1-0.
Slider down in the dirt. It almost looked like Oliva got crossed up by that pitch, but why would you get crossed up with a man on third and not second? He's just a little hitch and go. Oliva couldn't find it, and he's able to trot on home.
So just like that, 1-0 as Castro pops it up. Foul ground, not much room over there, and a good effort by Mahoney, but he was trying to battle a fan over there. Well, we've seen this before.
Yeah, well, obviously if it's in the stands, there's no interference, and it clearly was in the stands.
And it was a Marlins fan. I think he would have caught it.
Yeah. Well, clearly the problem is lack of communication, because he needed to call that guy off. I don't think he was saying anything.
Well, he didn't know his name. That's the hard part. I guess just say I got it, right? They'll get another chance. And this one, he catches.
How about that?
Wow.
If at first you don't succeed, hope they hit in a little bit different area. This fan's much more accommodating.
Oh,
There's a
the
Cub fan.
Let him catch it.
Come on, Cub fan.
Okay. Interesting sequence. Now Anthony Rizzo. And he drives one down into the left field corner on the first pitch. It is foul. Just foul.
I love the approach, though. You know, the 2 home runs last night came off of left-handed pitching, and he's been jumping at the ball against righties, so he's working really hard at trying to stay inside the ball. Willing to, you know, let the ball travel a little bit, hit it the other way. He's been Mr. First Pitch, too. He's done a lot of damage on that first pitch.
One picked up by Solano. He spins and throws and gets it. So with 2 outs, it's Soriano. Comes in at 271 with a homer. Just 2 RBIs. Still waiting for that patented Soriano hot streak. You know, the 11 for 25 with 6 home runs. One ball, no strikes.
Pretty aggressive with that fastball. 91 miles an hour. He's kind of 89 to 91.
That backs up Polanco. Very solid defender. Won Gold Gloves at 2 different spots. The Cubs have scored 4 runs on 6 hits in the first inning in this series, leading 1-0 for Travis Wood. Marlins Southwest starting lineup. Mike Redmond just trying to move things around, do whatever he can to jumpstart this offense. Solano's been one of their hotter hitters, so he's going to lead off. Polanco, Stanton still without a homer. Kearns in left. Ruggiano in center. Joe Mahoney, the first baseman, homered for the first time in his career last night. The veteran Miguel Olivo back of the plate. Chris Valleca and Alex Sanabia.
Cubs defensively have David DeJesus in center, flanked by Soriano and Shearholtz. Valbuena Castro on the left side. Boy, Darwin Barney made the play of the night last night, but that's often the case. He's at second, Rizzo first, Castillo behind the plate for Travis Wood. He's our Lexus pursuing perfection starting pitcher for the Cubs tonight. And he's been really, really good. 1-1 with a 2.08 ERA. Look at that batting average against, just 191.
Last start, a no decision at Cincinnati against his former team in a strike on Donovan Solano. Cubs 3-5 on this trip, and they can win tonight and tomorrow. It would make it a 5-5 trip. Wouldn't that be something, considering how it started? They lost the first 4. Castillo sets up shop on that outside corner. Wood hits it, and Solano smacks it foul.
Yeah, it's amazing how you can go from being in a funk to being being red hot within a week in this game.
Still very early. We haven't even hit May 1st. That one's yanked foul.
Travis relies heavily on that cut fastball in on the hands of the right-handed hitters. And then when he gets some cheating in there, he'll turn that little changeup over, down and away.
Another 0-2, and that one fouled off. Polanco and then Stanton here for the Marlins in the first inning. Wood has not fared well against the Marlins, but again, not a lot of those guys he used to face are still with this team. 2 starts, 2 losses, including one last year at Wrigley Field. He gave up 8 runs in under 5 innings. And that was the Jose Reyes, Hanley Ramirez Marlins. Good battle here.
There are only 4 current Marlins who have ever faced Travis Wood. They're all in the lineup tonight. Kearns, Polanco, Ruggiano, and Stanton. And nobody's had more than 5 ABs against him. Both these clubs having to do a lot of homework. The Cubs in particular finding out about these new Marlin players, their strengths and weaknesses.
Sharply hit grounder right to Castro. So that 9-pitch battle goes to Travis Wood.
So last night, you may recall, when the Marlins came up to hit at some point during the game, I said, hey, look at that. They don't have a single guy in their lineup who has hit a home run. And I thought that's pretty bizarre. So I fired off an email to the good folks at StatsPass, and they responded. The last time that had happened, where a team had gone 23 games into the season running out a lineup without a single home run, it was the 1981 Padres.
Wow.
Played a game
good
against
homework.
the Mets. Yeah. Thanks to those folks. Matt Benson did that research for us. Ozzie Smith, Rupert Jones.
Swing and a miss by Polanco.
Luis Salazar was their cleanup hitter.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like a lot of home runs to me.
First sacker was a fellow by the name of Broderick Perkins. Not familiar with his work. I'm about to be, because I got the Google machine.
It's the first time he's missed the strike zone. 11 straight strikes to start this first inning. And the 1-2 to Polanco, and he rolls it to Valbuena.
Typically, with a guy like Wood on the mound, you figure it's going to be a busy night for the third baseman. One, he'll get some guys to roll over on that changeup away. Some right-handed hitters will be rolling over on that thing and pulling it to the left side, and then the cutter in if they're able to get the bat head out in front a little bit. See a lot of ground balls to third base. Valbuena with Stanton up there is backing way up. It's a prudent decision.
If it weren't for the long throw, he'd probably be about 10 feet into the grass and left. Is there a guy who hits the ball harder in all of baseball consistently than this guy? Even the outs he makes.
Nobody comes to mind.
Woods 2-1 offering. Now 3 balls and a strike. Travis is from Bryan, Arkansas, inside of Little Rock. Cubs got him from the Reds 2 days before Christmas in 2011. Mike Stanton crushing one over the pole for a home run, his first of the year. That ball was massacred.
As if to prove the point about hitting the ball hard. Stanton unloads. I think that cleared that video screen. Oh, trying to throw a backdoor cutter, and it didn't stay in the back door. It
left the back door.
Yeah, it just ran right into his swing. And the big fella unloads and see.
Wow. Ford home run replay over his name on the board in left. Yeah, that's one of those guys you circle when you go into the series and you go, he doesn't have a homer yet. Oh boy. Yeah. You're just waiting for that moment. Kearns lifts into left center. And it's surrounded by David DeJesus. To end the inning, only the second homer allowed by Wood in his 5 starts. That ties the game at 1. Run presented by Atletico takes place Saturday, May 11th. It starts at Wrigley, and participants will run around the neighborhood and finish under the legendary marquee. This year, runners who raise $1,000 can run a post-race victory lap around the warning track, and if you raise $500, enjoy brunch inside the ballpark following the race. To register, visit racetowrigley.com. Always a fun event for a great cause. So a 1-1 tie. Nate Scherholtz takes ball 1 outside. An absolute blast by Giancarlo Stanton. Probably about as far as he can hit one even in batting practice. And he did last night in BP in that area.
You think he went up to play with a little extra fire in his belly after that miscue in right field?
Maybe so. Scherholtz had 2 hits, a double, and a game-tying homer in Game 1 of this series. That will drop fair, and he'll have another extra base hit. That's a leadoff double.
That is such a good approach, and we've seen him do that a number of times. He really has been one of the better stories for the Cubs in the early going. But we showed you that 2-seamer from Sanabia, how it runs away from the left-handed hitters. Doesn't have a lot of sink, though. Stays on plane. So if you're willing to shoot it the other way, you should be able to do some damage. And Scherholtz was and did.
8 for 13 now here at Marlins Park.
Leadoff double in the first, leadoff double here in the second.
Castillo takes low for a ball. Well, he's due 3 for his last 26. Sanabia is offering. Fly ball center. Scherholtz back to tag, but he won't be able to test Ruggiano. This wasn't deep enough.
Castillo's hits the balls hard during that down stretch you referred to. Just hasn't had a lot of luck. Also had one miserable game where he punched out 4 times.
Luis Valbuena hit the game-winning home run Thursday and admitted he tried to hit a home run. He said, I didn't want to play extras.
How about that?
Yeah, the Cubs had 2 extra inning games in Cincy, and he just took the game into his own hands. I love that he admitted he tried to hit a home run. Most guys don't admit that, and when they do, they usually don't hit one.
I know, normally, right? It's, well, I was just looking for something to drive and looking for a pitch I could handle. He's like, no, I'm looking to go deep. I'm tired of the extra inning stuff. Let's go.
I mentioned Sanabia from San Diego area. 32nd round pick in the 06 draft. His 17 games last year at AAA, had 3 DL stints. Swing and a miss, 1 and 2. Missed most of the previous year with an elbow injury.
Whew. 472 that home run by Stanton.
472.
A little light, a little shy of Rizzo's at Wrigley. Gonna have to eat some more spinach there, Popeye.
Now, who hit one 480? Was it Todd Frazier?
Todd Frazier.
Yeah, the game winner the other night.
That's right. So Frazier's on the gold medal stand right now. If the Olympic event is longest home runs. So unless there's been another one. Well, Frazier, Rizzo, and Stanton.
The other thing is, you know, these are just estimated distances, and Stanton's wasn't really coming down. It looked like it was ready to jump into another orbit.
Yeah, well, you know, he does those high towering home runs. They're so impressive to watch from up here. And that little bump 60 feet away from home plate, not so much.
Sanabia's 2-2 inside. Barney on deck. Full count on Valbuena.
Valbuena's done a nice job. He's got the 5th highest slugging average among National League third basemen.
And that'll go up, base hit into center. Sherholtz around third. He will score without a throw as the ball got out of the glove of Ruggiano. So the Cubs get that run right back, leading 2-1.
We talked last night at the start of the ball game about how home run dependent the Cubs have been this year. They've scored a higher percentage of their runs off home runs than any team in baseball. So nice to see him cashing in here these doubles. Runners in scoring position stat has really not been good. What, 140 something they're hitting with runners in scoring position for the season?
147 going into the game tonight. You all right?
I thought I had a bird about to land on my head. It was a napkin blowing around. I was marking my scorebook and this thing fluttered in front of me and I thought it was a bird. I was flat out panic mode.
Well, great night for Barney last night. 3 for 3 with a double. He was hit by a pitch and, as we mentioned, made the defensive play of the game. Foul tip.
Yeah, and you know, all the unearned runs the Cubs have allowed this year, this could have blown up into a really big inning for the Marlins. Feldman airmails his throw. Barney gets way up top to not only catch it, come down, get the bag, and convert the double play. That is pretty slick stuff. That's why he's a Gold Glover.
Coors Light freeze cam. He claims he can dunk a basketball. I want to see it. Probably not a good time to ask him that. After he hits into a 5-4-3 double play, Valbuena with the RBI single, his 10th ribby of the year, and the Cubs have a 2-1 lead early. Back to the Barclays Center in Brooklyn for Game 5 of the NBA playoffs. What a game today. Tune in at 5:30 for live pregame coverage as the Bulls try to end the series in Brooklyn. Neil and Stacy will have Bulls Nets Game 5 Monday night at 5:30 on Comcast Sportsnet. Triple overtime today. Bulls a winner. Nate Robinson 34 off the bench. They were down big late, came back, got it to OT.
Yeah, everybody was watching in the press dining room. A lot of drama in that game. That's when you know, as an athlete, as a player, you got to win this. You put so much energy into it, fight so hard for so long.
So Wood has his second lead of the night, courtesy Sherholtz and Valbuena. And he'll face Justin Ruggiano, the center fielder. Outside, ball one. Marlins with the worst record in baseball, 5-18. Off the end of the bat and rolled to Darwin Barney.
When Travis Wood was coming up through the Reds organization, it was regarded as having the best changeup in their system. various points along the way, different minor leagues he was in. He's considered the top changeup artist and control pitcher. And that's what we've seen, that good cutter, changeup, moving the ball east and west, both sides of the plate. I think that's the MO against a lot of these young Marlin hitters too. Just take a little off. You know, most guys get to the big leagues, they can handle the fastball, but struggle with the off-speed stuff.
Mahoney with his first career homer last night. 1-1. Miami just 1-8 against lefties. Well, honestly, you're going to struggle to find one particular split or area in which they have a good record when you're 5-18. They're 4-10 against righties, 2-9 at home, 3-9 on the road. Scherholtz will get there. They're talking about rebuilding before the game. You're coming from Houston, and the Cubs looking toward their future while trying to win games now. The Marlins back in a rebuild, and in theory everybody gets on board, but once the games start, and especially when it comes to the coaching staff, you know, Mike Redmond takes over this team and kind of knew what he was getting into, but he's being paid to win games.
Yeah, and you always, you know, I think baseball people generally, not all of them, are optimistic. You know, for the most part, most of these guys, a lot of good things have happened to them in their lives. Playing in the big leagues, they're making a lot of money. So they tend to be optimistic. Like, yeah, you know, we're a little undermanned, but we could do this. We're going to out hustle them. We're going to outsmart them. We're going to out this. And so far, they haven't really been able to do any of that. But the circumstances in Miami are so different because of, you know, where they were, all the payroll, that, you know, the money they spent to build this new stadium, taxpayer money. So there's all this optimism that they were going for it, and then they just slammed on the brakes, started dumping players and payroll. So there's kind of an Eeyore, like dark cloud hanging over the Marlins right now.
Oh, the abruptness of it.
You know, it wasn't part of a master plan that had been formulating for a couple of years. The plan was, we're building a new ballpark, we're going to get high-priced players, we're going to keep our guys, we're going to spend more money, and we're going to be really, really good.
Full count on Olivo. And a payoff delivery. Well hit to left, and that one will get out in a big-time hurry. So we're on a pace here to be 9-9 at the end of regulation. Each team with a run every half inning.
And the Marlins are just, you talk about the different categories in which they've struggled. The home run department is just woeful. They had 7 home runs on the year coming into play tonight, and only 1 in this ballpark prior to last night's game. So Mahoney hit 1 last night. Now Stanton and Oliva with a couple of 2-out solo home runs. Looked like a very similar pitch to Olivo that he threw to Stanton.
So his second of the year. Both homers for the Fish coming after 2 were out. Stanton in the first and Olivo here in the second. And Valleca fouls.
You know, and generally you think, well, solo home runs aren't going to beat you. But if you give up 1 an inning,
that'll beat you.
That'll beat you.
Wood last year gave up a career high 25 in 26 starts.
It's a lot like the 2-seam fastball that Sanabria throws away to lefties. Travis with his cutter, you know, he's got to either bury it hard in on their hands or backdoor and get it over that outside edge. The one that runs to the middle of the plate is a very dangerous pitch.
Yeah. Swing and a miss to end the inning. Olivo going deep. So we're 2-2 after 2 on a beautiful Saturday night in South Florida.
You come out and enjoy a game in beautiful Wrigley Field. The Cubs return for a 10-game homestand starting this Monday night, April 29th. Tickets are available for all 3 matchups. The Padres, Reds, and Cardinals are coming to town. And don't forget those tickets in the Budweiser bleachers. To purchase tickets, visit Cubs.com.
2-2. So Travis Wood with a foul strike, handles the bat well. Two. We heard Corey Blazer make that call. No need to say strike, just 2. He got him. And Olivo will have to complete the out. First strikeout for Sanabia. So the St. Paul Saints
of the Northern
League will take on the Gary South Shore Railcats in an exhibition game Saturday, May 11th. They will not have any umpires.
Really?
Yes.
Kind of like Sandlot ball, make the guys in the field make the call.
We're going to have a judge in a robe behind the mound, call balls and strikes. 12 little leaguers will kind of serve as the jury. As DeJesus skies into left, Austin Kearns will take care of it. 2 quick outs. So if you have close plays, the runner safe or out, the jury will render its verdict, and then the judge will break any ties. Fans can take disputes to another judge in the stadium. And while this sounds totally crazy, the executive VP and general manager of the team, Derek Scherer, actually thinks that it will make people appreciate umpires more. They'll realize how difficult it is.
Yeah, maybe.
The question I have is, how long is this game going to take?
Yeah, I put those kids on the clock. So where the kids will be, I'm guessing in some seats behind home plate?
Probably with signs, safe or out. Yeah.
But this is an exhibition game.
An exhibition. Yeah.
because you never know in those independent leagues what they might try to get away with.
It would be the soccer equivalent of the friendly. Two-1 to Castro, and he pops into center. And it'll be Ruggiano as the Cubs go 1-2-3. For the first time, they don't score for the first time as well. 2-2. Back later on tonight, our AT&T tweet of the game.
Big group of Cub fans there. I'm guessing there might be some Rizzo family and friends.
Yeah, about 75 to 100 per day. Anthony bought about 20 tickets and is sleeping in his own bed up in Parkland, which is about a 45-minute drive. And a strike called on Sanabia. Wood's next pitch.
Good one.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, great fun for a young guy to come back and play near his hometown in the big leagues. But there's a lot of challenges that go with that too, because you got to be careful to get your rest. And
hey, your routine gets messed with.
Yeah. You want to be accommodating to people and see friends and see family and go to lunch and do whatever you need to do. But he'll be ready to get out of town, I bet.
I bet most guys, if you ask them privately if they like playing in their hometown as a visiting player, would say no for that reason. Because they are creatures of habit. Swing and a miss, he got him.
Sanabia got him, so he comes back and gets Sanabia. Yeah, you know, I think when you're younger, when it first happens, it's really exciting and it's really cool. And the longer you're in the game, I think that kind of goes away a little bit. But as you mature as a player, you get better at dealing with it too. You know, got to hit that no button every now and then. So no, sorry, can't do it. Got to go to the yard.
Second time through, Solano grounded out his first time up, and he takes a strike. Jonathan Sanchez gets a 6-game suspension for throwing at Alan Craig last night, and he's going to appeal. He got kicked out of that game. So did his manager, Clint Hurdle. Nice backhand stab by Rizzo, and he'll get it to Wood in plenty of time. Jay Bell, the Pirates hitting coach, also got tossed later on in the 5th inning. Feisty Pirates group last night.
And they got a 5-2 lead over the Cardinals late tonight. They've been playing good ball lately. But yeah, Sanchez gave up back-to-back home runs to start the ball game.
Neil Walker, 6 stitches in his right index finger. He had his hand stepped on last night. Not sure if he'll go on the DL, but he's going to miss some time. High to Polanco. Two Gold Gloves at second, one as a third baseman. He was the ALCS MVP with Detroit in '06, has won a Silver Slugger, 2-time All-Star. He's built a very impressive big league resume.
High average hitter who rarely strikes out. He's always been among the toughest to strike out in the league.
Darwin Barney tied his record in 141 consecutive games without an error as a second baseman. I talked to him briefly about it the other night. Said he was very proud of Darwin. Really respects how he goes about his business on defense. Even though Polanco's playing third, he still is #1 all-time in fielding percentage among second basemen. And Barney will backhand. And Rizzo can't handle it. Polanco is safe. As much as Polanco respects Barney, he did not want him to make that play. And Barney telling Rizzo that was on me.
Well, Travis Wood redirects this ball a little bit from shallow center field. Barney a little offline with the throw, and Rizzo not able to pick it. That tough in between hop from first baseman, short hop pretty easy, big long hop that comes up waist high. That's fairly easy. That one there kind of a tweener, tough ball to pick.
They have scored a single.
Yeah, that'd be a tough error, wouldn't it, to charge a second baseman an error on a ball where he had to make a jump throw from center field.
Giancarlo Stanton with his first homer of the year.
Yeah, he could chop that up into 2 or 3 home runs.
That's that pitch you were talking about earlier, the cutter that catches the outside corner, but it can't catch too much of the plate.
Yeah, if you get around that pitch a little bit and it's going to run too much over the plate, you're going to reset your sights.
Now they're going to go off the plate in.
Boy, that looked like a good pitch. It missed. It didn't miss by much.
That time he got him, so Stanton strikes out to end the inning. We'll head to the 4th. Cubs 2, Marlins 2. fourth inning is brought to you by the new Cool Ranch Doritos Locos Tacos from Taco Bell. Live Moss. Weather has been picture perfect all weekend, and the Cubs trying to win their third in a row as Rizzo leads off and swings and misses on a change. Menard's big lumber stat. Anthony Rizzo now a club record for a left-handed hitter, 8 homers in the month of April. The all-time record, regardless of righty-lefty in April, is currently held by the guy on deck. Alfonso Soriano hit 10 homers in April of 2011. Inside, 2-1.
Yeah, it's nice to get off to a start like that. Put a little money in the bank, so to speak.
Three and one. A keyhole here.
One pitch, one spot. If you don't get it, disregard. Didn't get it. Get over breaking ball. You don't want to swing at that. It's coming here. Maybe a little change up. Nope. The breaking ball.
On a slider and able to fight it off. And he draws the leadoff walk.
Around the Cubs as they battle the Reds Saturday, May 4th at Wrigley Field. Game time is 12:05. Come early for a special Derby Day promotion. The first 10,000 fans will receive a women's Derby hat. Compliments of MasterCard. For more information or to purchase tickets, visit Cubs.com.
Thanks to Anthony Rizzo for modeling the Derby hat. Soriano grounded out his first time, and he
look out.
Made David Bell dance down there at third. Quick feet. So Soriano, as I said, 2 years ago hit 10 homers in April. Last year hit 0. And he's going to fly out to Stanton. Going to bring up Sherholtz, who doubled and scored in the second. Nate hitting .323, off to a really good start in his first year as a Cub. Playing every day against righties.
He hit that two-seamer away down the left field line for an extra base hit. I'm guessing they're going to try to work him in a little bit in this sequence.
Foul tip. 1 ball, 1 strike. It's a very even-keeled guy. Talk about highs and lows in this game. We haven't really seen him show either. He just stays right in the middle. You like having guys like that on your team. You're going to have a few guys who
run hot and cold.
Yes. But you need certain guys you just, as a manager, you don't have to worry about.
Yeah, that solid approach really serves you well too. I mean, you can't help it when you're going good to, come to the ballpark with a little extra bounce in your step, but it's the guys that can handle the down times that really survive in this game.
Long pause by Sanabia, short leg kick, and on a hop, Valleca will feed Solano, and that will end the inning. 6-4-3 double play will take us to the bottom of the fourth. Austin Kearns will lead off. It's 2-2.
Cubs Charities Pink Out, presented by Advocate Healthcare. In an effort to celebrate survivors and raise breast cancer awareness, we encourage all fans to wear pink to the game. All fans in the Budweiser bleachers will receive this unique pink Cub hat pictured there. You'll get that as you come through the gates. For more information or to purchase your Budweiser bleacher tickets, visit Cubs.com. It'll be fun. You'll be able to wear that hat around town.
Bottom of the fourth. Travis Wood has not allowed more than 2 earned runs in any of his starts. This is his 5th of the year, so he stays true to form. That's it for the Marlins. 2 solo home runs.
Or if they stay true to form, because they're averaging a little over 2 runs a game. If you were the gambling sort, you might have taken the under on this one. I don't know what the over-under was, but the way he's been pitching and their inability to score. 19 times out of their 23 games they've been held to 3 runs or less. 14 of those times 2 runs or less. They're not the only ones. Runs are down. A lot of shutouts in baseball this year.
Kearns with a fly to left. Soriano starting to run out of room. And he caught it. What a catch right up against the fence in front of that Clevelander.
It's so hard to read the wind in this ballpark. We've had a lot of conversations with Dale and others down on the field level about what it feels like, how it plays down there. We feel it blowing in on us each and every night. It's a little calmer here tonight, but this ball carried a lot better than I thought. I thought it got in on Kearns a little bit. You can tell by the way he got out of the box, he was relatively optimistic that he had an extra base hit. And Soriano, after a little twist and a turn and then ultimately a leap, puts it away.
JD, that's not a ball he would have caught 2 years ago. He did not, and admitted it, did not like going back up against the wall, especially at Wrigley Field, but his work with Dave McKay last year seemed to change everything. That was a really nice grab by a veteran. And a big out. That was a leadoff guy. Kearns would have been at second base. Yeah, Soriano and Dave McKay really have clicked. And it's hard to argue with McKay's success as a first base and outfield coach.
And Soriano's never been afraid to work.
The 2-1 to Ruggiano is a strike called on the outer third.
Yeah, I think they're going to be careful with Ruggiano with the fastball. He's a good fastball hitter, so just about everything's going to have a little bit of a wrinkle in it, either a cutter or the changeup. There's a good fastball.
Oh, strike 3.
It's very similar to the approach he had with Stanton. Essentially using the fastball as a changeup because you show him the off-speed stuff and the cutter, and then boom, the heater.
So he has struck out 4. And it's Mahoney with 2 outs. Caught the corner. Our Avis slow-mo replay. Mahoney battling some Marlins fans for a foul ball. And on the next pitch, into the lap of a Cub fan to make the catch.
Maybe the Cub fans are just very sensitive about getting involved in
anybody's business. Yeah.
Look out back there.
Well, most fans want a souvenir, so they're going to reach for it. Just outside.
A little something on it too. 93 miles an hour.
Popped him up. Valbuena emphatically calling off Castro and Wood to make the catch. Alfonso Soriano, we know about his work at the plate, but really has improved defensively the last couple of years. 2-2. Final game of this long road trip as Soriano and the Cubs face the Marlins of Miami. Tune in as the Cubs look to put the finishing blows on the Marlins. Cubs-Marlins tomorrow, 11:30 for the pregame on Comcast Sportsnet.
Carlos Villanueva will take the ball for the Cubs tomorrow afternoon against veteran Ricky Nolasco. Carlos 1-0 with a 1.53 ERA. Nolasco's 1-2. His ERA 3.81.
Castillo, Valbuena, and Barney against Sanabria. kick, the pitch, swing and a miss.
Good slider there. Sanabia first came to the big leagues in 2010 with the Marlins. He made 12 starts that year, was 5-3. Just a little bit of time with them in 2011. Was back in the minor leagues for most of the season. And last year did not appear in a big league game. He spent 3 different stints on the minor league DL.
And he got him. Just his second punch out. Here comes Valbuena. RBI single in the second. The Cubs have led twice. The Marlins have come back to tie the game both times. Nice piece on Cubs.com on Luis Valbuena by Kerry Muscat back in spring training. His background and his family. His mom Nelly goes to all of his winter league games in Venezuela, but she has never seen him play in person in the States. She does watch every game on TV. And we hope she's watching tonight. Yeah. Not afraid to critique his performance either. She's a former local Little League president. Two and 0. Luis doesn't know his dad, but he was raised by his mom with his uncles helping out. Grew up as a catcher, a pitcher, a shortstop, and eventually signed with the Mariners in 2002 with assistance from his older brother, who was working for the Mariners and got Luis into their Venezuelan academy. And for the most part, he's played second base. Getting a lot of time at third here with the Cubs since last year. That's a strike, 3-1. And he floats that one down the right field line. Stanton over to get it. Valbuena hustling. And he is saved. What a throw by Stanton. Looked like Valbuena had an easy double, but Stanton almost got him.
That was a heck of a throw by Stanton. We've seen him show off the power, and you know he's got a big arm. But not only is this a strong throw, but it's right on the money. He gathers himself after a little stumble. And that's from deep in the corner. And Valbuena with a head-first slide able to beat it. Yeah. Make no assumptions when you're going to challenge the arm of Giancarlo Stanton. We talked about his slugging average. He's holding up his end of the deal. I mean, he's not the prototypical slugging third baseman, but so far this year he's been quite productive.
3 doubles for the Cubs.
Mom's got to like that. She's got to like that hustle.
Barney pops it up on the infield, and Mahoney will make the catch.
Mike Redmond rather will always have a special place in his heart for this young right-hander. Sanabia was the winning pitcher in Redmond's first win as a major league manager. Came in New York. They were swept in their initial series by Washington and then beat the Mets 7-5. Sanabia went 6 shutout innings in that ball game.
Well, they have 5 wins and he owns 2 of them.
Ouch.
Oh, wow. That hurts just looking at it. That'll leave a welt.
Travis Wood says, that's for taking me deep. Hey, man, you okay? I don't care. I don't care if you're okay or not.
Ooh, Travis trying to bunt. Just extend the inning and let DeJesus knock in the go-ahead run.
I'll be fully aware of the fact that Travis Wood's a good hitting pitcher and he's treating him like a good hitter. I'm just going to throw him cookies.
Got him on a slider to end the inning. Valbuena's 2 for 2. He doubled with 1 out, but was stranded there. Still tied. Stats and tweets with Cubs in-game live only at CSNChicago.com. Brought to you by Comcast Business Class. 2-2 tie. Travis Wood back to work.
He has not walked anybody. 3 hits, a couple of long ones, and then the infield single by Polanco. That's what Oliva did back in the 2nd inning. That might have been a changeup. Initially, I thought cut fastball, but that might have been a changeup that drifted in on him a little bit. Aggressive hack there, just didn't get the head out.
Back to Wood, nice play. And he gets the out.
Does all the little things, holds runners, swings the bat, fields his position. Finishes square to home plate in a good fielding position.
By the way, the St. Paul Saints are in the American Association, no longer the Northern League.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Got a lot of tweets to that effect.
But that's an independent league.
Yeah. Right.
It's not the. For years, there was a minor league American Association.
Yep.
It doesn't exist anymore.
Our tweeters jumping all over us for that one. Thank you for correcting us. Chris Valleca fouls. Sioux Falls Canaries, Winnipeg Gold Eyes, Fargo Moorhead Redhawks, Mentioned the team in Gary. The Wichita Wingnuts are in that league. Yeah. The Laredo Lemurs.
The Lemurs, right?
Yeah. You've seen a lemur, right? It's it's kind of like a
rodent-like type creature.
Yeah.
Isn't there a show about lemurs on the Animal Planet?
Yes. Man, I got to think of the name.
Lemur World or something.
Maleka grounds out. Well, my 12-year-old will be upset with me if I don't get it right, because that's a show we used to watch all the time. Zaboomafoo. That's it.
And the animated show, Madagascar, right? Lemur was like a big star of that.
Okay. High to Sanabia. It's 2-0. Inside, 3-0. Don't want to walk the pitcher.
There
he did.
Isn't that ironic? Hadn't walked him. I don't think he had many 3-ball counts prior to that confrontation. Just a little brain cramp with 2 outs. Got the opposing pitcher up there. Concentration just wavers a little bit. Kind of mentally putting yourself back in the dugout.
75 pitches for Travis Wood. Only 25 have missed the strike zone, but he walked the pitcher on 4 straight.
In his defense, I would argue that 2-0 pitch was a pretty good looking pitch, but beside the point. Yeah, he hasn't had to make many pitches from the stretch tonight. First 2 base runners circled the bases. Blanco singled with 2 outs. And Stanton struck out, so that sequence with Stanton was from the stretch, but that's been it.
A nice note from Kyle Stanfield, watching the game tonight with his newborn son. It's going to rest right in the left-handed batter's box. Castillo pounced on it, but it was foul. Job by Scott Feldman last night. On his first win as a Cub. Talked to Jeff Samart after he threw today. Index finger seems to be all right. Said it really doesn't bother him at all when he throws. And he should be ready to go for his next outing, which would be Monday against the Padres at Wrigley Field.
Yeah, that doesn't bother him throwing. I think his only concern is if it were to open up again and start bleeding, you have to deal with it all over again.
Foul tip, strike 3. So after walking the pitcher, Wood picks up his 5th strikeout to end the 5th. We'll go to the 6th. It's 2-2.
whether the Cubs are home or on the road, guided tours of legendary Wrigley Field are available. Tours include visits to the press box, clubhouses, dugouts, as well as a chance to actually step on the field. This must-see Chicago attraction houses almost 100 years of history. For game days and non-game day schedules, or to book your tour, visit Cubs.com/tours. Do it today. You will not be disappointed.
Alex Sanabia and Travis Wood, a 2-2 deadlock as we hit the 6th inning. And the Cubs will have the top of their batting order: De Jesus, Castro, and Rizzo. Changeup at 84, feathered in there for a strike. Seattle Mariners third base coach Jeff Datz has announced he has been diagnosed with an undisclosed form of cancer. He may be away from the Mariners for part of the season while he receives treatment.
Certainly wish Big Daddy well. He's a great guy.
53 years old, third season with the Mariners. Short big league career, 7 games with Detroit. 1989, he was a catcher. Ground ball to Solano, shuffling over to his right. Castro's had a quiet trip at the plate. 6 for 36.
.258 now the average. See the on base percentage at .280. The guy just doesn't walk much, so he's got to hit for a high average, and typically does.
I was talking with Juan Pierre the other night. I said, hey, how'd you like playing for Charlie Manuel in Philadelphia? I said, I liked him a lot. Old school. I said, which is good for me. Juan said, the computers don't like me that much. I said, well, they do when you're hitting 300. As Castro singles into left. Guys who don't walk a lot, they do have to hit for a high average.
Yeah, and Pierre steals a bunch of bases too, so he can do that for you. But right, he is sabermetrically challenged, you might say. Doesn't walk, doesn't hit for power. Still, if you're a good defender, you can steal bases. Still a place for you in the game. You just have to do it really well.
Yeah. Well, in 03 with the Marlins, 361 on base percentage, 374 the following year, but he hit 326 that season. Rizzo swings at a bad one. Slider at his back foot.
Now, this has been the problem. It's the right-handers breaking balls, changeups. He's been out in front of. Just geared fastball or a little too impatient. Against the lefties, he's been really working hard to keep that front shoulder closed, staying in, and it's really paid off. And I think you see this a lot with hitters. Opposite-handed guys on the mound, you tend to see the ball a little bit better, so you get a little jumpy sometimes.
0-2 off the corner.
Trying to get him to chase that two-seamer.
Way out in front. Boy, that ball pinballed around. It actually hit a railing, I believe. Bounced back about 2 sections.
Yeah, I think that ball was going to hit him in the back foot had he not hit it. And this thing is really down and in.
I hope everybody's all right over there.
Well, the Braves, who have been red hot, lost again today. They're having a tough time with the Tigers. Anibal Sanchez struck out 17 Braves. And last night's ball game today, Detroit beat Atlanta 7-4. And Rick Porcello. Justin Upton hit another home run, though. He now has 12.
Wow, what a month. Orioles have won the first 3 games in Oakland this weekend. 7-3 the final today. The A's have now dropped 8 of 9. Look at that hot start. Full count, 3-2. Castro at first, 1 out, the 2-2 tie.
He's had him swinging at that slider. Let's see if they go back to that well one more time.
Castro runs, ball 4.
Kind of easy for Anthony there, throwing that changeup way up and away. Easy to lay off of that one, but second time he has walked in this game. And that's part of it too. If you're struggling, and he's been struggling against right-handed pitching, you got to be willing to take your walks, just battle, have good at bats. 1 for 3 with a walk's not a bad day. 1 out of 3 draw a walk, drive in a run. If you do that a whole bunch of times, you're going to make a lot of money in this game.
Sanabia has walked 2, and it's been Rizzo both times.
Funny how that works. The guy hit 2 home runs the night before. All of a sudden, everybody's real careful.
Yeah.
So you decide who you're going to challenge. You did not want to give in to Rizzo there, 3-2, so it provides an opportunity for Soriano.
Good rip at a fastball and fouled it off. Our AT&T Uverse multi-view. As the Cubs are trying to get the lead for the 3rd time. Castro the lead man at second. Rizzo behind him at first. And the cleanup hitter at the plate with just 2 RBIs on the season. 0-2. How about Travis Hafner, 3-run homer and a go-ahead triple. And the Yankees beat the Blue Jays 5-4, sending the Jays to their 16th loss. 9-16. Swing and a miss. So Soriano, a 3-pitch at bat, strikes out.
Beat him with a good low fastball. Did Sabathia win that game for the Yankees?
I believe he did.
I believe that is the 10th consecutive season that he has at least 1 win over Toronto, and that's a record.
Yeah, he did. 4-2. Mariano Rivera got a day off, so Jabba Chamberlain got his first save in 3 years. John Gibbons, the Blue Jays manager, after the game said, quote, "You know what? Right now we're not good enough." It's that simple. Kind of sums it up.
He'd been ejected in the 2 previous ball games.
Sanabi is 0-1. It's high. I'll get back to our conversation last time Nate Scherholtz was at the plate, talking about how even-keeled he is. Some guys kind of run hot and cold. I think the times you got to worry as a player is when your mood doesn't match the team's mood. In other words, if the team's struggling and you're doing well and you are in a good mood, or if the team's playing well and you're in a bad mood because you're struggling, that's when it gets a little tough.
If nothing else, fake it.
Yep. Cubs lead 2. We're tied in the 6th. Is the #1 source for live baseball everywhere you go. Available for iPhone, iPad, Android, and BlackBerry 10. At Bat delivers Cubs baseball with live audio, pitch tracking, stats, news, highlights, and more. Text At Bat to 31826 or visit Cubs.com for details. Tie ball game, bottom of the 6th. Polanco 1 for 2 against Travis Wood tonight. Other finals, Nationals beat the Reds again, 6-3 the final.
Bryce Harper hit another home run, his 9th.
Harper with 18 RBIs. Nationals team record for the month of April. That's 1-2. Chris Heisey exited early with a strained right hamstring. Polanco cracked his bat. Phillies dumped the Mets 9-4 in New York. They've won 5 in a row at Citi Field. Fly ball right field. It's Scherholtz.
First major league win in that game today for the Phillies. Jonathan Pettibone. and Sean Markham.
Markham making his Mets debut. John Buck hit his 8th homer for the Mets. They've lost 5 of their first 8 on this homestand. You see Travis Wood updated.
And, well, you know, got to be a very comfortable feeling for Dale Swaim right now when he puts that game ball in Travis Wood's locker. It says, you're my guy tonight. He's been so dependable. Just doesn't make mistakes. Really knows how to manage a game. His shortest outing so far was his first 6 innings of 1-hit ball in Pittsburgh.
0-2 is hit down the right field line. Sherholtz playing off the line with a long run. He made the catch. What a grab by Nate Sherholtz.
How sweet is this catch? He had a long way to go. Big, strong right-handed pull hitter Mike Stanton. Giancarlo Stanton at the plate, but he closes ground, leaves his feet, and hangs on for dear life.
He really scraped up that left arm.
Never been any doubts about his ability to play the outfield.
Well, 2 excellent catches in the outfield on the corners. Soriano up against the fence off Kearns in the 4th, and then Stanton robbed by Sherholtz here in the 6th. Woods 1-0 pitch. Kearns pops it up. And Castillo will end the inning. That'll take us into the 7th. It's still 2-2. Couple of excellent catches. Soriano spinning out in deep left, getting Austin Kearns, and then Nate Sherholtz with a long run to rob Giancarlo Stanton.
Yeah, big plays taking away extra base hits in a tie ball game. Those are difference makers.
Defense helping out Travis Wood tonight. Castillo leads off.
So many times the 7th inning is the swing inning in a ball game because most clubs are pretty well set 8th and 9th inning in terms of shutting you down. Both these clubs have had problems in the bullpen this year. So maybe a little less so in this particular matchup, but still 7th inning, a lot of games decided right here. Starting pitcher still in the game, getting your 3rd look at him, maybe fatiguing a little bit.
And nobody catches it. Stanton just kept looking at Solano. That's got to be the right fielder's ball.
Boy, Stanton really did not put very good effort in on this ball at all. He's just kind of cruising in, assuming Solano was going to make the play, and it's a much easier play for a hustling right fielder to close on this ball.
Cubs will take it. Leadoff man is on. So the Cubs making plays defensively, the Marlins not. That goes down as a hit for Castillo. Now Valbuena. Inside, ball one.
Trying to get a little weak contact with that inside fastball. Marlins looking for two. They've turned 2 double plays already tonight. Cameron Lowe getting ready in the Cub bullpen. Valbuena pretty adept at pulling that inside pitch, though, and he's got some room to work with. Solano cheating towards the bag.
That's deep. Kearns back on it, and he makes a nice catch. That'll send Castillo back to first. 3 really good swings tonight for Valbuena. That might have been the best one, and then he makes it out.
Yeah, well, stays on that 2-seamer and really gets through it. And nice play by Kearns. You got to be kidding me, Austin.
Darwin Barney with Julio Bourbon now in the on-deck circle for Wood. Slider called strike. Pirates beat the Cardinals 5-3 the final. A.J. Burnett beating the Cardinals for the second time in 10 days. He's 2-2.
Pirates off to a pretty good start here. They struggled out of the gate, but they've turned it around recently, and of course everybody knows their story. Haven't had a winning season since 1992, and each of the last 2 years it was a given the way they played the first half that they would accomplish it, but in both seasons they cratered.
Really faded late. Swing and a miss. It's 1-2. Jake Westbrook pitched well today for the Cardinals. Their starters have the best ERA in the majors, 2.08.
Yeah, those youngsters are stepping up. Shelby Miller's been really good for them.
Westbrook with a 0.98 mark after 6 shutout innings. But he got a no decision. It's low.
Well, there's a number of starting pitchers that are really dealing, and it's typical early in the year with so much cold weather. Now, coming into play tonight, there were 23 pitchers in the National League with ERAs of 3 or better. I would say last year, it was just a handful of guys that finished there.
Castillo not running, and Barney, that's a high fly to left. Much easier play for Kearns this time. So 2 outs, and it'll be Bourbon to hit for Wood. Another quality start for Travis Wood. He has not allowed more than 2 earned runs in any of his 5 starts.
And because of the way he's pitching tonight and the way he's pitched all year long, this is not an easy decision. Remember, he handles the bat pretty well.
His night done after 91 pitches, and his updated earned run average 2.25. And with Bourbon announced, here comes Mike Redmond.
And he's going to go to his lefty Dunn, and Dale Swade may burn Bourbon here. We'll see how he plays it when we come back.
It is the Honda call to the pin. We'll be right back.
their lives. When the Cubs are on the road, host your clients at Wrigley Field with a barbecue on the field or a softball game in the outfield. For more details, call 773-404-4161 or visit Cubs.com/premier. You too could go deep at Wrigley.
And it's a Honda call to the pen. Left-hander Mike Dunn.
And it looks like Bourbon will take the at-bat off the left-hander. Dunn is 1-0 with a 2.45 ERA. He's the only lefty in the bullpen for the Marlins. And he's got good numbers, 10 hits, 3 walks in 11 innings while striking out 12. You see he's held left-handed batters to a 2.17 average.
So Travis Wood chatting with Mike Borzello after another excellent outing. The Cubs have had 6 straight quality starts from their rotation. Bourbon has done a nice job since being acquired on waivers from Texas. He's got Castillo at first, being held on by Mahoney. And the pitch in there at 93. Each team with a run in each of the first 2 innings. Nothing since. And short lead by Castillo. Dunn to the plate. It's 2-2.
Close the outside corner there at 94. He's got a plus arm. He's got some command issues. Walk rate fairly high for him. And for a guy pitching in tight games late, the walks haven't been an issue, but he's got outstanding stuff. I think had Castillo been in scoring position, I think Dale would have been willing to burn Bourbon there and send up a right-handed pinch hitter.
Comes from New Mexico. He's a converted outfielder slash first baseman. Went to the mound in 06. Castillo runs, and that's ball 4.
Good AB. Sometimes that's what you got to do. Just hang in there off a tough lefty. And see if he can work a walk. And now to Jesus with a chance to give the Cubs the lead.
Double to start the game. He ended up at third on the play because of an error by Giancarlo Stanton. And then he would score on a wild pitch. As a hitter in the Yankees organization as an outfielder, Mike Dunn hit 160 2 seasons. So he thought about doing something else, and it's worked out.
Nice to have that plan B available to you, to have that kind of an arm. Been a lot of guys that have made that transition. Tim Wakefield is an outfielder with the Pirates. They released him, or we're getting ready to. And I can do this. Got this knuckleball thing. He pitched about 20 years in the big leagues.
Carlos Marmol, former catcher. 1-1 to DeJesus.
Not many go the other way. One notable exception, Babe Ruth.
Rick Ankiel. Micah Owings, I think, is trying to make a full-time conversion. He's done a little bit of both. Now 2-1.
Yeah, this is frustrating for the manager. You bring your lefty in to face a left-handed pinch hitter, then a left-handed hitter to follow, and his job is not to tiptoe around these guys, but to get him out. You don't want to just pass the baton. You know, when the right-handed hitter comes up, to pass the baton over to the right-handed reliever so you finish it off. Cubs having good patient at bats off of Dunn.
Up the middle and a base hit. Castillo's going to score. And the Cubs lead 3-2. David DeJesus comes through. Boy, remember how Castillo reached.
Yeah, that little blooper in the shallow right that the Marlins were unable to make a play on. And boy, two really good at bats off this tough lefty. First Bourbon working the walk, and now DeJesus the run scoring single.
That run charged to Sanabria. And it's Castro first and third.
We talked about this at the beginning of the ball game. DeJesus, after starting so slowly, 2 out of his first 21. Now 18 for 50 since then. Over 350.
Travis Wood can get the win. The bullpen can hold this lead. It's like Cameron Lowe is next. One to Castro. Now 1-2. Left-hander Pedro Hernandez got his first big league win. 5 shutout innings as the Twins beat the Rangers 7-2. Oh, what a play by Dunn. That ball was ticketed for center field, and he gets Castro on an excellent play. However, he gave up the hit to DeJesus. That broke the tie. It's 3-2 in the 7th.
of public transportation. The CTA Red Line stops directly at Wrigley Field at the Addison Station. For drivers, the DeVry University offers remote parking and bus service for $6. Or try riding your bike and use the Cubs courtesy bike check sponsored by World Bicycle Relief. That's located on Waveland Avenue near the corner of Clark. For details, visit Cubs.com or call the CTA hotline. A lot of options when you're heading out to Wrigley.
Well, Castillo with that bloop single to start it. And then later with 2 outs, DeJesus knocked him home. So the Cubs lead for the 3rd time, and sinker baller Cameron Lowe will pitch for the first time in a week.
Yeah, we'll see how sharp he is after the long layoff. His numbers with Seattle, and then since joining the Cubs, just a couple appearances since coming over here. He's 1-1 with an .831.
Check that. Facing Ruggiano.
Two scoreless outings since putting on the Cub blue. It's his pitch.
Where's that?
I don't know. That's what he's saying with a double take. He's glaring in there at Corey Blazer, the home plate umpire. It's on the plate for sure. Is it down? I don't think so.
Swing and a miss, 2-1.
Well, here we go again, Len. Just another tight ball game.
We've just become accustomed to nail biters. It's really all they've played here in this first month.
Builds character. Not really.
I'm not sure what it does, but
that's it. Line doesn't build character, it reveals character.
Yeah, right. Well, you're never out of a game if you trail, and you never feel totally comfortable if you lead. 3-2 to Ruggiano. He fouled it off himself. Kick the pitch. Ball 4. Leadoff man is aboard.
And Ruggiano showing some discipline laying off that sinker. He likes to swing the bat. He's a pretty aggressive hitter.
So it's Joe Mahoney, former Orioles minor league player of the year.
That's just the 6th walk drawn by Ruggiano this year.
Lowe's pitch. Broken bat roller. Oh, just squirted through. He hit it in a perfect spot. And the Marlins are in business. 2 on with nobody out. First hit for Miami since the 3rd inning. A single by Polanco.
That big left-handed hitter with power. Normally you don't see him chopping the ball on the ground the other way. I don't think that was his intention. It just worked out well for him as Castro was cheating a little bit towards the bag to handle the pivot there on a ground ball to the right side. It's Rondon and Russell.
Olivo homered in the 2nd. Grounded to the pitcher in the 5th. Valbuena, Barney, Rizzo with the dig. They turn it 5-4-3.
And that's Lowe's forte, the sinker ball. He gets a lot of ground balls, and Olivo doesn't run well. So it's decision time for Valbuena when he comes down with his high chopper, where to go. And he immediately goes to second base, puts it in the hands of Barney, and then the pick on the other end by Rizzo.
Barney usually puts it right on the money, but a nice play by Rizzo. That gets by him. We're tied. As it is, 2 outs. Ruggiano's at third. And it's Valleca. Greg Dobbs is now on deck. If it gets to him, it'll probably be James Russell.
Let's take a look at the turn by Darwin Barney after the feed from Valbuena as they go around the horn. 5-4-3.
I think his pant leg.
he might have got the ankle on the back. Yeah, generally the umpires will give you a little leeway there, unless if the throw's not accurate. If the throw causes you to come off the bag or stray from the base, they're not going to give you that call. But if you're straddling the base and fairly close, they're typically going to give you the call.
Valleca with a fly to right. Scherholz gliding and catching, and then that's the inning as Cameron Lowe walks the first batter, gives up a hit, but the double play bails him out. Sportsnet Central. Catch the nightly news show for the Chicago sports fan every night, 6:30, 10, 10:30, and midnight on the network that's as obsessed as you are, Comcast Sportsnet. Mike Dunn will face Anthony Rizzo and then may come out of the game.
So far he's 0 for 2 in getting left-handed hitters out.
Cubs maintaining their 3-2 lead. Rizzo breaks his bat as he flares one into short center. It'll be Valleca. Here comes Mike Redmond to make a change. Honda call to the pin. Pitching change for the Marlins. We'll be back. His father Hank pitched for the Mets and the Dodgers in the 1970s. He is on for the Marlins. A lot of walks.
Yeah, 8 walks and 12 2/3. That certainly gets your attention. This ground ball guy is a very good sinker when he's on his game. Hasn't given up a lot of hits. Keeps the ball in the ballpark. Last year in the 16 1/3 innings he allowed 2 home runs. He's 4-3 with a 4.03 and 65 appearances.
Soriano with 1 out, nobody on. Cubs lead 3-2 in the 8th. Well, from the stretch. Breaking ball low and outside.
I saw him last year. It wasn't just sinker, but it was turbo sinker. I mean, he was nasty.
Deep to left. Will it stay fair though? Nope. Plenty of distance.
Folks have had some action out there tonight. Yes, this ball doesn't have the real good sink that you usually see from Webb. It's tailing in on Soriano, but not a whole lot of sink. It's just tough to keep that ball fair. You got to pull the hands in to get the barrel to it.
Hooked on the ground, and Polanco will throw out Soriano. 2 away. And it'll bring up Sherholtz. Webb's a big dude, 6'6", 247. Born in Clearwater, Florida. It's on the other coast. A lot of Midwesterners over on the west coast of Florida, and a lot of Northeasterners over here.
And Quebecers, a lot of French Canadians down there.
A lot of that has to do with I-95 versus I-75. You ever driven down here on I-95?
Yes, used to do it a fair bit. Haven't done it in a long time.
I feel like you know what it's like to race in the Indy 500 with motorcycles and jackknifing semis. It's like a real life video game. Yeah, you got to be really careful.
Yeah, and not to pick on our seniors, but sometimes the focus of some of the drivers down here not quite what you'd hope.
Right. Sherholtz draws the walk to keep the inning alive.
I mentioned Ryan's dad, Hank. 7-9 in his major league career. 53 appearances, 19 starts, mostly with the 75 Mets. I remember, it's funny, I'd forgotten that was his dad. I remember seeing Hank pitch in Montreal when I was a kid, or teenager.
That's still a kid, I think.
Insurance would be good.
It sure would. Cubs trying to win 3 in a row for the first time after winning consecutive games for their initial time this season. Sherholtz runs, and he is going to be thrown out by Olivo, and that'll end the inning. Still 3-2 Cubs. David Dementieva saying the Cubs outfield defense bringing it tonight, and you are correct. And the fact that the Marlins made an error in the first inning and a ball that probably should have been caught in the 7th looming large in this one. So Juan Pierre announced Sale had low warming up, and he'll go to James Russell. It's a Honda call to the pen when we come back. much as you used to. And we'll explain to you the difference. Now, in previous years, I think the rule changed maybe last year or the year before. Managers would have the previous innings pitcher warm up with the intention of bringing in another reliever before the first pitch of the inning was thrown. You can't do that anymore. As Russell deals a strike. Didn't Joe Madden have Sam Fuld warm up because he hit for the pitcher and kind of played loose with the rules? I mean, it was within the rules at the time as Pierre swings and misses 0-2. But if the pitcher's hurt, clearly injured, you can obviously take him out. Or if the other manager brings up a pinch hitter, you can make the change. Barney better hurry. The throw is not in time. He still runs extremely well.
He's one of those guys that you have to tighten up against regardless of the situation because of his speed. And that's his game. Chop it on the ground, run like crazy, especially off a lefty. So he just rolls over on this breaking ball. Barney comes after it in a hurry, gets rid of it in pretty good shape, but Pierre just too fast. Close. They look like they got it right.
See how aggressive he'll be here. Pierre likes to run. Just shy of 600 steals. And he kind of did a little bit of a shuffle step towards second before Russell threw over. What do you think? Is he going to try it here?
I think it just depends on how comfortable he feels with his read on Russell.
And he's getting a maximum lead already. And a lot of base stealers actually get a bigger lead than they normally would take in an effort to get the pitcher to throw over, just so they can gauge that move.
You know, to be such a good base stealer for so many years, you have to have a sense of daring. You got to be willing to put yourself at risk, especially with a lefty on the mound or a guy who's real quick to home plate.
And the pitch is a strike. But Pierre told me earlier in this series he feels like he's a lot smarter in terms of his base stealing than he was 10 years ago. And I said, how so? He said, I'm able to pick up things that I see that pitchers do a lot better now. And I think most pitchers do have subtle little things they do that they don't even see. They don't notice, but base stealers do. It's just hard to do everything exactly the same when you throw to first and when you throw to the plate.
Right. And they'll look, you know, they'll look at your head. They'll look at the way you position. Sometimes a guy will turn his foot a little bit on the rubber. They're looking for any kind of patterns in terms of, you know, rhythm you get into. You come set, 1,001, 1,002, you go home. You know, if you don't vary that pattern, you're at risk of giving the base runner a big jump.
Fly ball to right. Schuholtz has had a very busy night. Will he have room? Yep. One away. Well, Pierre might be more willing to steal.
Yeah, with each out, the situation becomes a little bit more desperate for the Marlins, so he'd be more inclined to steal a bag. We talked earlier about the comfort level that Dale Swade must have when he hands the ball to Travis Wood. Same thing applies to James Russell. Each year he's been in the league now, his workload has gone up and his ERA has gone down. So if you bought James Russell stock back in 2010, it's paying pretty good dividends for you now. Currently pitching with an ERA of 0 for 12 appearances. Didn't have a good read on that time. He was going back to the bag as the pitch was being delivered. A much better crowd here tonight than we saw the first 2 games of the series, and they're into this game.
27-5-19. A pop-up. Rizzo just doesn't have enough room. If he were 12 feet tall, he would have made that catch.
There's not a lot of foul territory in this ballpark, is there? Nope. A little bit of a break to the hitters, but generally a pitcher's park. It's a big yard, huge in the power alleys. 392 in right center, 386 left center. Up now. As a pitcher, you want to, if he promises not to run, I promise not to go over, and we'll just move along with this game. Unfortunately, it doesn't work that way.
A ball and a strike on Polanco. Another lean there back toward the bag by Pierre. He's getting what looks to be about the biggest lead he can get. You know, for some guys, when you get a lead like that, you go on first movement, you might make it to second even if they throw over to first.
And I think that's probably the best way to try to steal off the lefty. Just get a decent lead, go on first move, and
Jesus is there to make the grab. 2 outs.
If you wait around over there and try to read a left-hander's pickoff move, you're not going to steal any bases. You got to go on first move and hope you guess right that he's going home. Or, as you said, if he comes to first, have a big enough lead and aggressive enough jump where you can beat the throw from the first baseman.
Well, he's going to be able to probably steal second with a right-handed pitcher coming up, but the other part of it for Pierre now is Giancarlo Stanton's at the plate, so he may be a little extra cautious here. He does not want to take the bat out of his hands here with 2 outs. So Russell gave up the hit to Pierre, but then gets Solano and Polanco, and here comes Carlos Marmol. It's the Honda call to the pen. For tomorrow afternoon, Carlos Villanueva, Ricky Nolasco here on CSN. Cubs can hang on tonight. They'll go for the sweep tomorrow. It's a Honda call to the pen, and it's Carlos Marmol.
This is fun stuff. Marmol in there to wrestle with Giancarlo Stanton. 2-1, 4.35 the ERA for Marmol on this trip. He got a blown save and a win in a game in Cincinnati, and picked up save number 2 on the season here the other night. Last night it was Kevin Gregg nailing it down in the 9th.
So Pierre at first, Stanton at the plate.
If I were Carlos, I would focus all my attention on that guy in the batter's box.
Burns on deck. 3-2 Cubs in the 8th. And the 1-0. Got by, almost hit him. Pierre will jog down to second. That was a slider.
It's a slider that didn't slide. He squirts out of his hand and backs up on him. Castillo not able to secure it. It's a wild pitch.
And the 2-0, 3-0 now. Talking to himself.
Get a good pitch. Don't chase. He's been chasing a lot of sliders out of the strike zone this year.
And Stanton heads down to first.
Once he got behind Stanton, you got the sense that they weren't going to challenge him. So you take the bat out of the hands of their most dangerous hitter, but you put the go-ahead run on base. Didn't miss by much.
Yeah, I don't think I have a problem with that. Stanton really is the guy you don't want him to beat you.
Once you got into that hitter's count.
Yeah.
And, you know, Carlos is not really a command guy. You know, if you had a Dennis Eckersley type guy out there, he'd just pick away at that corner. But you know, Carlos is just trying to overpower you.
Ground ball. Castro diving stop. The flip. Got him to end the inning. What a play. Still 3-2 Cubs. We've seen Castro struggle with his consistency, but this is a Gold Glove play.
Yeah, sometimes he gets out of rhythm fielding ground balls out there at shortstop, but his athleticism, he's certainly capable of making plays. This is the second one, at least on this road trip. He made that diving play the other day. And that was just a sweetheart there. Cubs, they've tightened it up defensively in recent days, and that was just beautiful. I'm reminiscent of the play Cozart made to beat the Cubs the other day, and Dale Swaim was quoted after the game, said that's how you win games. You make big plays at big times, and that's exactly what Castro did there.
Veteran Chad Qualls to face Castillo and company here in the ninth.
Yeah, Qualls, his game is similar to Webb, who preceded him. He's a sinker baller, sinker slider.
Blue pit in the seventh, and Welly would come around to score the go-ahead run on the DeJesus 2-out single. Sharply hit up the middle and through.
So you catch a little break with the blooper, then you get a good solid single up the middle, and you've got yourself a 2-for-4 night. Kevin Gregg is cranking it up in the Cub bullpen. There he is.
By the way, you know, we looked at that replay a couple of times at second base, and Jeff Nelson got it right. Stanton was out. Kind of a slow slide by Stanton. I guess they have slow dirt here at Marlins Park. With a naked eye, I would have guessed he would have been safe. It was that close, but he got it right. Two 2-0 the count on Valbuena. There it is. A foul pop. And will easily reach the seats.
Oh, he's frustrated with himself. He had a pitch to hit right there. 2-0 fastball. He's been swinging it well tonight too. 2 hits and then a deep drive to left last time up. That one is right there in the sweet spot for him.
Fly ball to left. Kern's got a good jump on it, and he'll make the grab on the warning track. Barney 0 for 3. Sent his average from 206 to its current 189. Remember, he started a couple of weeks late because of the knee laceration. Still building up his at bats. And he swings, and boy, the backswing caught Olivo either on the mask or the side of that helmet. Surprised that doesn't happen more often. Lifted into right center. Caught by Ruggiano. We'll bring up Scott Hairston. Pinch hitting for Marmol, Kevin Gregg. Get another chance for a save.
He's gone off to a slow start here. He's 2 out of 25. He's 3 out of 6 against Qualls in his career.
Qualls grew up as a Dodger fan, but his favorite player was Will Clark of the Giants.
That seems counterintuitive. How could a Dodger fan be a Will Clark fan?
He loved his swing. Loved that left-handed swing.
He did have a good swing. His answering machine played The Thrill Is Gone when he called his house he wasn't home. Will the Thrill. Man, he could hit.
Two strikes on the pinch hitter Hairston. That's low and away. 96. Qualls can still get it up there quickly. Swing and a miss. Ball gets away from Olivo. Hairston didn't realize it at first. And the inning is over. So we go to the bottom of the ninth. Kevin Gregg coming on. Cubs lead 3-2. We're looking for their third consecutive win. Last night, Kevin Gregg went 1-2-3 to get his second save. And he'll face Ruggiano, Mahoney, and Olivo.
That made it look easy last night. He's 2 for 2 save tries now with the Cubs. And one time he was the closer here in Miami for the Marlins for a couple of seasons. A well-traveled veteran right-hander. A lot of fastballs in last night's game. Got the sense that some of the Marlin hitters were looking for that split finger pitch and they never got it.
Greg had a great spring with the Dodgers, but didn't make the team. Signed a minor league deal on April 15th for the Cubs, with the Cubs. And a slider misses, 1-0 to Ruggiano. 0 for 2 with a walk. Wood, Lowe, Russell, Marmol, and now Greg. See what Kevin Gregg did. 61 saves over 2 seasons with the then Florida Marlins. Bounced out in front of home plate. Ground ball right to Barney.
It's a comforting feeling to see the ball hit on the ground in that direction. Greg started his career with the Angels. First came to the big leagues in 2003. And time with the Fish, then a Cub in 09. Blue Jay in 10. Last 2 seasons he was an Oriole.
And when he was a kid, he went to Dodger Stadium. Just like Chad Qualls. Very late swing by Mahoney. So while Greg is from Oregon, his grandparents are in Glendale, California, which is about 15 minutes away from Dodger Stadium. Called strike 2. I mentioned the Angels. He grew up watching Mike Scioscia. He later pitched for him with the Angels. Working quickly here in the 9th. 2-2. So Levo on deck. He homered to tie the game in the 2nd. Swing and a miss. Strike 3.
Previous pitch was a split finger that drifted off the plate. This time it's on the plate and down. Mahoney sees strike when he gets it started, and then just dips down below the knees. Yeah, I love the pace with which he's working. So let's go. Get it and go.
Olivo would have caught Greg in 07 when they were together here. And he knows what he throws when he likes to throw his pitches. If Olivo reaches, it would be Chris Valleca. Popped him up. Foul ground. Rizzo. Cubs win. Kevin Gregg, a 1-2-3 night for the 2nd consecutive night. And the Cubs beat the Marlins 3-2.
Well, that's 3 in a row, 4 out of 5, and again a very clean game played by the Cubs. A couple of big clutch hits, outstanding defensive work. Shearholtz had one, Soriano in left. The play Castro made at short, a run saver. Good solid team effort.
Our GMC professional grade player of the game, Travis Wood. He got the win. The Cubs scored the winning run after he came out of the game. 6 innings, 3 hits, 2 runs.
Yeah, another solid effort from Wood. Just a couple of solo home runs with 2 outs in the 1st and 2nd. 1 walk. Punched out 5 starts, 5 very good trips to the bump for Travis Wood in 2013.
So a win tomorrow, a 5-5 trip, and a 4-game sweep. And for J.D., Todd Benjaminson, Skip Ellison, Keon Dolit-Shahi, Jim Cornell Jr., our entire CSN crew, Glenn Casper saying so long. Final score from Miami, the Cubs 3, the Marlins 2. We're back with you at 11:30 for the pregame. The final game of this series. We're not done yet, though. Blue Cross Blue Shield Cubs postgame live coming up.